We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Welcome everyone to Meanwhile Back at the Lab with Paximus. I am so glad that you are here, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or maybe it's the evening. I'm so glad that you guys are here on this episode of Meanwhile Back at the Lab with Paximus. We have a wonderful guest who is going to be visiting us all the way from Italy. And I don't want to extend the time too long because our guest is none other than Powerful Students, also known as Annalisa, or Anna in this case. And I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Just to acknowledge you guys in the chat, thank you Mindspaces for being here as well. It's so good to see you. Shaikh, it's good to see you. A24 Aman, it's good to see you. Francesca, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you as well. Crash Hermit, thank you for being here as well. Guys, thank you. Aditya, Aparna, Debanjan, thank you for being here. It's good to see all of you guys here in the chat, and I want to go ahead and kind of get into our conversation because I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, to be honest. A little bit of a fanboy here, so I'm just saying, but it's really wonderful that that Anna took some time to kind of hang out with us a little bit, and this is an opportunity for us to get to know her just a little bit more. So I do want to say thank you to none other than Anna. Anna, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. And how are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys for being there with us tonight, because here in Italy at the moment is 7 p.m. and thank you for studying here with me.
Yeah, well, and Anna, thank you so much for being here because I know how late it is, and you've had a long day. You've been studying for quite some time, so I do want to kind of just jump into our conversation. But for those people who might not know who you are, it's rare, but in case people don't know who you are, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how you kind of got into YouTube?
Yes, I am a fourth-year law student, almost finished, because here in Italy law school is 5 years too long. I'm 23 and I'm from Turin, Italy. And I have two different YouTube channels. One of them is an Italian channel, and the other one is a Study With Me channel, international channel. I am here on YouTube basically, as a lot of YouTubers, because with the start of the pandemic on March 2020, I passed through a terrible period. But when I discovered how students can go out from this terrible period, I immediately thought, oh my god, I need to share something with other students. And step by step, and now we are here almost 10,000 all together to study, and this is amazing because I think that when you can share your motivation, your power, but each other, we can stay really motivated each other all together, you can really stay more focused, and you can stay more motivated, also if motivation is not the most important thing in my opinion. But with the power of other students, you can stay really more focused on your work, and this is the reason why my channel is called The Powerful Students.
That's wonderful. Because most people, including myself, we tend to just put our name into it. But I love that you actually reflect your community. You talk more about how we can be together as a community and help each other, encourage each other to study. So I think that's wonderful that you do that. And so you're currently a law student, a fourth year law student, and you can you tell us why you decided to pursue law in the first place? Like, what was the mindset behind that, and how did you get to where you are now?
My story is a little bit strange because I wanted to be a lawyer for, I don't know, the moment when I was probably 13 or something like that.
Wow.
But in the last years of high school, I started working as a fitness instructor, swimming instructor. So the last year of high school, I had a lot of doubts about, oh my God, what I'm going to study in the college. I don't know, sports science or law. And I couldn't take the right decision. I mean, and I studied a year in Milan, sports science. Actually, I am, yes, a fitness instructor. I worked in a lot of different and amazing fitness centers, but I remember that my second one exam in sports science in Milan, it was sport law. And when I went out from the class, from the exam, I took the worst choice
Oh.
because I want to be a lawyer. So I changed and I started law school. But also in the decision of a high school, because here in Italy you can choose different subjects in law school. I studied the course that allowed me to have the possibility to study law. So before starting college, I already studied law, and I already knew that I was in love with law.
So it's kind of been a long time coming. You know, you started when you were 12, 13 years old, had this vision of being a lawyer, and you kind of pursued it. You still, had it at least in the back of your mind that no, I really want to focus on this, and it's wonderful that you're doing law. And one of the things that I noticed is how the different stories I hear about people going into law school. Can you tell me just how what was your mindset going into law school versus where you are now? And like, did you think it was going to be as hard as you thought, or did you think it's actually not? It's difficult, but it's manageable. Like, what's your take on that?
Okay, I'd like to start answering this question with an important thing. I am a first generation student in my family.
Wow.
So my parents didn't go to college
Hmm.
and also as well to high school. So I'm the first one in the second one, but my sister she was different. And then I'm the first one in my family to study law, basically. Law school here in Italy is structured in a strange way. I mean, here you are two different possibilities when you want to get into college. The first degree is 3 years long. And then you take your master's degree for another 2 years. So 3, 2, totally 5 years. But you study for two different courses. Okay,
Hmm.
law school is 5 years long without any breaks. So that's something of strange here because that's like an adventure. And honestly, I don't know if people who are here know that about me. But
Mm.
when I started my first year of law school, I didn't get immediately into law school 5 years long. But I got into 3 years law school for the first 4 or 5 months. And so I studied this 3 years course, but only for 4 months. I don't remember exactly. When I saw that I had the ability to study into law school and to get good grades. Sorry for the noises, guys, as usual.
Hey, it's okay.
Uh,
This is all live stream, so I'm sure people are kind of used to, things like that happening.
And when I understood that I was good at law school, okay, let's change. Let's go for 5 years law school. I mean, the first exams, they were the same, so I had no problem in switch the course.
Hmm.
And then from the second semester, the summer semester of law school, I changed, and now I'm currently in the fourth year of law school.
Mm.
That's strange when you are a first generation law student. because you don't know exactly how to manage everything. And for
Mm.
me, it was strange because I lived alone, and I paid all my activities, rent, school, books, almost everything. I provided by myself, and I had a lot of different works. I worked in a lot of different places, swimming pool. I worked also for 2 years in an international law firm as a clerk, administrative assistant, or something like that. So it was not easy. And honestly, I was not so organized as now, and I was also a little bit crazy because I loved going out with my friends. I worked in a village for students during the summer break or something like that. So I didn't study in a too much serious way. I was good in the first year of law school. I was good. I had no problem, and I did all the exams, but I don't know exactly how I did that. I every time I was serious, I am serious, and I really take in a serious way my studies, because every time my priority was I want to get graduated in 5 years. I don't want to study too much. I mean, here in Italy, a lot of students in law school keep studying for 6, 7, 8 years because they can't organize themselves in a good way, so they can't understand how pass all the exams. It's not easy manage law school, in my opinion, because you have, I mean, a lot of books to study, and
Well, I mean,
that's not.
it seems like a lot.
Yes, of course. But when you can find something that fits for you, you can proceed without a lot of problems. But honestly, in this period, I have less less work to do that doesn't work, that doesn't concern law, because I left all the previous activities that I used to do in the past until the past month in order to get good grades, because I'm going to graduate in less than 1 year. But I think that when you work, when you have a lot of different things to do, because you need to manage sport, school, works, or something like that. Okay, you
Right.
have a lot of different things to pay attention to. You can study well, in my opinion. I know that it sounds strange, and probably yes, of course it is. But when you have the whole day to study, a lot of time you waste your time, and you don't know it. You don't see that you are wasting your time sometimes. But when you have a lot of things to do and you need to do everything well, and you have not a lot of time because you know that 4 hours you need to go to work, you have only 4 hours to study, you can really focus your energy in a better way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I would agree with you. I think there's a lot of things that need to be thought through in terms of how your day looks or how your week looks and how you can manage the time. I think it just depends on, what is going on in your life, what you prioritize. And for me, I would say, like, if you're a student who's studying, 8 hours or 9 hours or something like that, that's perfectly fine because that's your job. That's what you're working on. And don't forget though that there are certain things you have to incorporate, like work, as you were saying, or exercise, eating healthy, getting the proper rest, things like that. So, and I would say that this is completely relatable to all students who are listening to our conversation, getting to know you a little bit better. And for those of you who are in the chat, this is just a side note, but for those of you who are in the chat who maybe want to ask Anna a question towards the end, we are going to have just a small Q&A. And if I can have one of my moderators kind of just check on those questions and then send it to me, that would be great. You can send it to me through Discord if that's easier. So, Anna, the other question I had for you is about the Study With Me community specifically. How did you find it? And like, did you know that this was a thing on YouTube, or did you one day just say like, I'm just gonna put on a camera and we'll see what happens? How did you kind of know about the community, and how did you get involved?
In my in my first channel, Italian channel, I started my channel without organization. And my only purpose was and is okay, let's share some tips with students that could be that
Mm-hmm.
could need that. Okay, so this was and this is my only purpose. So I started making videos without organization in terms of technical tools. Okay, uh, and sometimes I used to watch other YouTubers' video in order to understand something of technical, specific, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard someone talked about study with me video, but I didn't know what they were. I mean, so it was strange. But I was passing through a very bad period. So when I heard that, okay, let's try to watch to look at this video, and it works for me. It worked for me. Okay, I need to do that because I cannot really help other students. If I can do that, I can help someone. So I want to try to start doing that as well. And so I started, but I started with not too much powerful laptop
Oh,
without a camera.
right.
Uh, so the first lives they were in July 2020. They were not so good in terms of quality,
Uh-huh.
but I'm extremely grateful because there are a lot of people that have been studying with me for 1 year
Mm.
and they keep studying with me although my bad quality of videos, and I'm extremely grateful for these people because on YouTube, that's right, you can find a lot of amazing people with amazing backgrounds. Oh my
Mm.
god, I, that's super, and
Mm.
I can understand why people look at these videos. Okay, but I'm extremely grateful and I love my community for that because they were with me, they are with me although my quality problem. And honestly, my quality problem, it was not only problem in terms of I don't know how to manage technically a study live or a laptop or the program to go live. The problem was also that in order to have a good quality, you need to invest a lot. I mean, now I bought a new laptop,
Mm-hmm.
a new camera, a new tools, and they are expensive if you want to start something. But I didn't know what I was going to get into, honestly. Now, again, I'm extremely grateful for what we are building an amazing family, because this is not my channel. Every time I say
Mm-hmm.
this is our family, this is our channel, and every time I used to say that I don't want to be a YouTuber in my life. I want to be a lawyer. I want to succeed in law school, in law
Right.
stuff or something like that. Okay, and my only purpose here is that I know what it means being a student also in this pandemic period, because I didn't say that, but my biggest problem was that I used to study at library, and basically your brain works in a way that can associate a place with a feeling. So
Mm.
when I was at home, my only feeling was rest. And when I
Yeah.
was at library, okay, let's push this session. Okay, so for me, in the first weeks, it was really hard try to find right strategy to stay focused. I changed every time the room. I used to study on the balcony. I did really strange things in order to find some focus, and
Right.
I was feeling crazy. So people when they look at me on my Instagram or on my YouTube, oh my god, I want to be like her. Okay, Now I'm in that way, but I keep saying, guys, if I can, you can as well.
Mm.
You can too, because I was not in that way. You exactly when you go to the gym, you train your muscles.
Yeah.
Also, when you need to build a routine in order to stay focused, you can train your concentration, you can train your mindset, you can change yourself, you can change your life. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I used to study for the whole night before the starting of the pandemic. So I worked until 7 p.m. After that, I went to library until 2 or 3 a.m. Okay, so
Yeah.
now I changed everything. I wake up half past 5 a.m. and I changed all my life. And probably 1 or 2 years ago, if I were see people that, oh, I wake up at 5 a.m., are you crazy? But when you try something, before judging something, you need to try
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Because I had all these problems to stay focused, so I started reading strange things, watching videos, listening to podcasts until I found the right motivation in order to find my personal motivation. Because the most important thing is not motivation. I used to say every time that your motivation is like your phone battery.
Mm.
The more you use your phone during the day, and the more the energy level decreases.
Mm.
Okay, your motivation, that's the
Yeah.
same thing. Okay, this is also the reason why I practice sport in the morning, because in the
Mm.
morning, okay, let's rock this new day, you are full of energy. But at night, after a day of study, of problems, a lot of different things that happen to you, um, at 6 p.m. I don't want to train. I'm tired.
Right.
Also, if I wake up at 9 a.m. So, this is the reason why, really, the morning is my biggest secret.
Mm-hmm. And I want to first of all thank you for that analogy of motivation, because I find it very interesting how you it was a good analogy about, like, a phone battery. Eventually it dies out the more you use the phone. So for me personally, there was a time period that I did about so I would live stream early in the morning, but then throughout my day, I felt more energetic. I mean, my schedule totally changed. It went from 4:45 in the morning to about 9:30, and then I would go to sleep, and then I would get my sleep and do it all over again. And I felt energetic throughout that process. I think it was certain habits that come with that mindset, or just changing how you do your schedule, helped me so much. And I have to agree with you that if you go off that path of, you end up studying until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and for me right now that's been a problem, because now, because of school and because of work, it kind of gets in the way. So if you don't know how to balance those things, it does become a problem. So I admire the fact that you encourage others to stick to this certain program, not only because it's beneficial, but a lot of good habits come from it, and it helps you with your mindset. So if motivation is the word that you're using, that's wonderful. But I would say that it's just you're providing an example for other people to see that this is what's helpful to me. Hopefully it's helpful to you as well, and I love that you are very focused on reminding the people in your community that it's not my channel, but it's our channel. It's like you guys are part of the family, you're part of the study family. So I really think that that's a wonderful approach you take. And speaking of approaches, what is the approach for you in terms of studying? Because I think there was a period in time where you on your channel you did 50 minutes of study time and then 10 minutes of break time, but then over time I think it started to transition into 60 minutes versus 50 minutes. Can you tell us a little bit about that transition and like where, what the mindset was for that?
Yes, we did something else also because in December or in January, I don't remember exactly, it was becoming famous the way to study to get into a flow, into your focus situation for 3, 4, 5 hours without taking break. So I used to study for 50 minutes of study and 10 minutes breaks. After that, we tried also 170 minutes or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but almost 200 minutes and 15 minutes break. And after that, already 50-10 and now 60-10. By the way, I think that first of all, for me, the most important thing, that's something that I keep repeating also before the start of each session in my study life is, guys, the purpose of study for an amount of minutes, 30, 40, 60, it doesn't matter. But the purpose of doing that is, okay, now I'm going to switch off my brain. I'm going to switch off all my thoughts. Okay, and for the next 50 minutes, it doesn't matter if I need to study 1000 pages until the exam. For the only 50 minutes, the only thing that matters is that I'm going to focus my energy, my focus on what I plan to do in this session. And this is really important, okay? Okay, 50 minutes. My brain knows that I need to stay focused only for 50, 60, I don't know, for an hour, okay? That's a fixed time.
Right.
And then I can take a break. But there is something that students can't understand, and it's the importance of the break. Break, it doesn't mean that you can take your phone and you can scroll Instagram page or something like that. Break, it means that you need your brain, your body needs to rest, your eyes need to rest, okay? So during the break time in my channel, I do something strange because the first 2, 3, or 4 minutes, I encourage my students to get up, walk, look at a distant point, drink water, stay hydrated, take stretching sessions. You can do a lot of different activities that can help you to stay focused through your day. Because the first sessions, that's easy, having concentration, but during your day, you are going to have less energy and less focus, and you are going to struggle to study. So this is really important. Try to find the best routine in order to have energy for the whole day. A lot of people that follow me, I don't advise people to do what I do. Sometimes people have focus concentration, different concentration problems. Sorry.
Right.
There are some people that can stay focused for 60 minutes. So I say them, okay, try to stay focused for only 55 minutes, and then 50 minutes break. Okay, step by step, because as I said, you can train yourself to do better. But on the other end, there are a lot of people that prefer stay focused for 3 or 4 hours without taking break.
Yeah.
So it depends on you. It depends also on different periods of your life. Because, for example, before starting the session period, the exam period here in Italy, I have a lot of energy and I can stay focused also for hours without taking a break. But now I have been studying almost every single day for a lot of months. I'm tired. I can't stay focused for hours without taking break. So this is important. Try to find your right balance to have focus. But another thing that it is important as well is, okay, you study with 25 minutes Pomodoro, but if when the timer rings, you are in the middle of something, you can't stop studying only because the timer. Okay, so if you feel that you are in the middle of something, don't stop, keep studying. You are going to take a break when you feel that you need break.
Yeah.
So There
Yeah,
are a lot of different.
and I actually love what you said about that, because we're not robotic. We're not robots, you know. We can't function on a timer all the time. Sometimes it's helpful. It's a tool. The Pomodoro is meant to be a tool to help you stay focused. Now, exactly what you said. If you're working hard 25 minutes and it's one pomodoro, and but you're like stuck on a problem and you're about to figure it out, like don't stop, just keep going. And I love that you encourage people to do that on your channel. I think specifically, Anna, what I see is, not only are you a hard worker and someone who loves to care for other people in part of your channel, but what I see is that you're doing the best you can as someone who has a channel, who has a platform, to try and teach in different ways. Now, as an educator, what I try and do is recognize that there are different learning styles, different types of people who learn differently. And I think what you're talking about is exactly that. Is hey, if 50 minutes works for you, do 50 or 55, and then take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break. If 25 minutes works for you, then build up to that. Don't feel like you have to do 60 or 3 hours. You can go and do 25, and then little by little get better. And I think also you talk about how much exercise is actually important. Not only like your mind, but physically. Physically, it's important to get up, walk away, don't look at your phone. um you know I think one of the things I struggle with is my eyesight. And so, to save my eyesight, I need to remember not to look at anything like a screen. I have to sometimes just get up, walk out, go out and get some fresh air. Remember that there's a world out there, things like that. So I love that you also encourage people to do that. And I think you said that there was like a portion right after you're done with a Pomodoro. It's like about 1 or 2 minutes where you do get up and, get away from your screen. I think more people need to hear that and actually do it. And I love that you encourage your study with me community to do that. Just as we're kind of starting to wrap up a little bit, for those of you who are in the chat right now, if you have a question, please do me a huge favor and just put question. You can put all caps if you'd like. You can put question and then your question for Anna as we're starting to wrap up. I do have maybe another question or two, and that's it. And if you do have a question, if one of my admin or moderators can send me those questions on Discord, that would be great. And anyways, so thank you guys so much for doing that ahead of time, if you have questions, of course. So many people in the Study With Me community, Anna, they ask the question, and we kind of already talked about this just now, but how many hours will you do this session? I feel like you answer that question over and over and over. So you always, and you do it in a very kind way, by the way. You politely say, just guys, check the description because we probably answered your question 1 or 2 times, But sometimes I feel like the real question they're asking is, why do you do a certain amount of hours? I think there's always a question behind that, is why, how many sessions are you going to do left, or what do do you have 60 minutes that you're going to do left? But I think the question behind that is, how many hours do you feel is the best? Do you feel like 8 hours is the best, 9 hours? And what would you say to someone who asked you that direct question of how many hours or how many sessions?
I think that there are two different types of people.
Mm.
There are some people who think that I'm crazy because I study too much. And there are people that think that I'm study less because people on YouTube, I mean, they study 14 hours per day. Why
Right.
you study only for 8 hours? So I'm joking, of
Yeah.
course. My point is that I try to repeat every day that there are a lot of things that I keep repeating every single day to my community because I really believe that they need to know that. And also, when they already know that, I think that when you can hear something again, it can be in a certain way useful for you, helpful. So I keep repeating that we are not only students, but we are also people.
Yeah.
I am a person, okay? So I need to take care of myself, and this is something that for me, this is really important. A lot of students think that the more you study, the more you're going to get good grades. This is not the truth, in my opinion. In my opinion, you should focalize your energy on do well in less time. Study smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if you can take care of yourself, of your mind, or of your body, you can study better, you can study more, but in less time. A lot of time people keep struggling themselves for studying hours and hours, and they can't understand what they read, okay? So if you feel that you struggle, stop studying, go out, run, practice sport, practice meditation, take a cold shower, I don't know,
Yeah.
do something, and then be back with more energy. Don't struggle yourself to keep studying a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I get good grades. I have an I weighted average. So I don't say that with no in. I mean, I know what I'm saying, but trust me, guys. I know that that's difficult to understand, but you can really be more productive in less time if you can be really present on your book when
Right.
you need to study.
I
So
agree.
try
Yeah.
to find your best routine. I don't know. Try to put the sport in the morning or in lunch break or at night. Try to find your best routine. Okay, you can take me as an example, but if my routine doesn't fit for you, try something else until you can find something that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, and these are wonderful techniques and approaches and tips. And I think you have exactly the right mindset of not everybody's built the same either. So what works for you, I think, may not work for me, but we do have to keep in mind that as humans, we can only do so much. So we have to also be aware that we have to prioritize a lot of things in our life. Some people, they're like, they go by lists. I personally like lists because it helps me to stay on track with what to prioritize my time. It's just helpful. And some people, they struggle with that. So I think part of the question of like how many hours does a person do, well, it's really up to you. I mean, it's up to you on how much you think you can do, but at the same time you have to be disciplined, you have to be focused on certain tasks that you need to accomplish. And I think that's exactly the message that you're talking about, Anna, is being able to recognize what's important, how you need to structure your time throughout the day. And if you need to study 8 hours, then you need to study 8 hours, but I personally, I study 6 hours because I work full time. I'm an educator for full time work, and I can't manage to do more than 6 hours. That for because I'm also in school at the same time. So I do schoolwork, I do full time work, and then I study. So it's a long day, and that's my typical day. And I know that for a lot of people, they, especially students, they perhaps don't necessarily have all that, but some do, and it's just hard to manage all that. That's why I create lists. For me, it's nice. It's a nice feeling to check mark something off and just say, okay, I accomplished that today, even if it's small. I did something with my time, and I was productive. And I love also that you said, if you're struggling, don't struggle in a Pomodoro session. Like, if you need to go away and relax your eyes, maybe we'll talk about sleep in a second, but if you need to go outside and just rest a little bit, rest your eyes, and then come back, take a cold shower, take a warm bath or something, whatever helps you to get that energy back that you need to stay focused on your studies. And I love that you encourage people with so many different approaches that I personally would hold as healthy. I personally view these approaches and study tips as healthy, because you have to balance. It's a key word that I think a lot of students don't remember. They know about it, but they don't remember themselves. I sometimes fall into that trap of, well, I got to get this done. I got to do this, and I need to remind myself to be more productive purposefully, and not just kind of like staring at a screen for 8 hours. So hopefully that makes sense. But okay, so I think we don't. Let's see. So I believe it's Silani. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't have a question, but I really like to thank Anna for her motivations, her tips, etc. Virtual hug. So thank you, Silani, for that comment. And recently, I am struggling how to absorb the stuff from the textbooks. I really need advice. Shaikh, thank you so much for that comment, and I think it's a question that we can ask Anna. How would you maybe give some tips or advice for this person in particular? Shaikh, I think is how you pronounce that.
I don't study more than 8 hours because I use one of the strugglest way of study. I mean, there are two different ways of studying. One of them is an active way, or the another one is the passive way. In my opinion, people should study in order to learn fastly, in an active way. So I use active recall, and I can guarantee you that you can really study hard, but you are going to feel exhausted at the end of the day because you are really studying. Okay. When you study in a passive way, you don't use a lot of energy. So yes, of course you keep studying, but you are not studying a lot. Try to review tomorrow what you studied today in a passive way. I'm pretty sure that you are going to remember absolutely nothing. When you study in an active way, you can really absorb what you need to study, what you need to learn. You can really learn, you can memorize something. So my best advice is, first of all, read what you need to study. Secondly, at the end of the paragraph of the topic, it depends. Okay, you need, of course, to build something. Okay, something that it makes sense to understand when you try to explain to someone else. So, first of all, read something. Secondly, understand, and then try to explain to someone else. Okay, every time during my study session, I seem crazy, yes, and probably I am also crazy. It doesn't matter. But I try to read, understand, and then I don't look at my paper anymore, and I start talking to myself, and in order to build a speech. Okay, in order to try to explain what I have. What I read. I mean, for me, it's not so difficult because I'm a fourth-year law student. We have all our exams in an oral way, so I can build a good speech without taking a lot of effort. So that part is not so demanding for me. But the activity on I read, and I try to remember what I read, what I understand, what I need to understand. That's the most important thing in order to learn something in a fast way.
Mm.
So also, if you go to Google and try to check something that concerns active recall,
Yeah.
okay, you can find a lot of different strategies, and they really work, because trust me, at the end of 60 minutes in that way, you are going to feel exhausted. Oh my God, I need a break.
Yeah,
That,
exactly.
but these really work. And another thing that I used to do is today I study something, tomorrow I'm going to review that something. And people, the first thing that people think when I told them these things is, okay, today I studied that for 9 hours. Tomorrow I need to study that for other 9 hours and then keep going. How I can do that? I need 14 hours per day. No, it doesn't work in that way, because what you studied today in 9 hours, you needed 9 hours because you needed to understand, to comprehend, and you needed to put in comparison that things with something else. Okay, it's not easy. Try to
Yeah.
to learn something in a good way, but tomorrow you are if you today you studied well, tomorrow you are going to review what you do today in what you did today in 9 hours in less than 1 hour. Trust me.
Mm.
And that's good, because in this way you can keep in your mind what you studied. My biggest mistake, and everyone's mistake in my opinion, is, okay, I'm going to study my 100 pages book today. I start from page 1. I have 30 days, and I divide 100 pages,
Mm-hmm.
1000 pages, sorry, for 30 days. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work in that way. First of all, because the day before the exam or the week before the exam, if you didn't review what you studied 1 month ago,
Mm.
trust me, you can't remember anything.
Right.
So try to keep reviewing periodically what you already studied. This is the most important thing. As I said, today 9 hours, tomorrow 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And this is important, because if you don't do that, at the end of the preparation of your exam, when you need to start again reviewing everything, you are going not to review something, but you are going to study again something, and
Yeah.
you will have not enough time to do that.
Exactly. I mean, these are wonderful tips. These are practical and very logical. Something that you studied a long time ago, you won't remember right before an exam, and that is key. Is maintaining a. And I agree with you, Anna. I do active recall when I do studying, because it's, for me, it's the most effective. Um, the idea behind it is to understand that there's learning and understanding. There's a difference. You're learning something because you're taking in new data. You're accepting new data and something you've never heard before. And then when you get to the point of understanding, it's because you're willing and able to teach it to someone else. And that's the key component of what you're talking about. Is you do active recall. Like, okay, so if I'm gonna remember everything that I just read right now, I need to be able to show that I know what I'm talking about. So I suppose when someone is in your live stream, because I've been in your live stream a couple times, I've studied with you actually. I don't know if you know that, but I was in one of your live streams, and you have this face of like you're saying something in and doing active recall, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I would do, um, just so that I'm able to say something and teach something to someone who needs to know some new information, some new data, and so I think it's really important also that a lot of people, they consider like looking at a page for, I'm going to focus on this page for this amount of time. You won't be prepared for an exam doing that. You have to somehow keep moving along. If you get stuck on something, move forward, and then return back to it, because if you stay there too long, you won't get anything accomplished, so I want to thank you, Anna, so much for your time. There are a couple of more comments that I just wanted to mention real quick before we end our time. Um, there's a questions from the live from Mind Spaces, And Mindspaces says, did your family understand that you need and want to study for long hours, and not having so much free time anymore? Did your family know much about that? That, like, the need for it?
That's a difficult question. As I said, I'm a first generation student, so my parents can't understand exactly what it means of being a law student. But I don't need other people approval for what I want to do. Okay, especially when you feel that you are going to think bigger than other people around you, you need to stay strong on your mindset. I don't mean that you don't need to pay attention to your affects, loves, family, all these things. Okay, of course, you need to take care of your family, share amazing moments with your friends, go out, all these things. Okay,
Yeah.
this is really important.
Right.
I don't mean that you don't need to live your life, but you need to recognize that in that moment you need to have priorities, and you need to prioritize your time, your free time also as well, and your life.
Yeah.
So yes, of course, my parents know what I do, but also if they told me, hey, you can't do that, okay, I'm going to do that because I want to do that. So I'm really, in my family, also my sister, when she went to the university, she studied at home. Okay, she used to drive to the university and then go back at the end of the day. In my last year of high school, one day I went to Milan and I found a job. I'd be back at home. Okay, after the last year of high school, in a few months, I'm going to live in Milan and to study sports science. Bye.
Oh, wow.
And my parents, are you crazy? What are you saying?
Right. That must have been a shock when you heard that too. You're just like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
I'm not crazy, because when I take a choice, I'm perfectly aware of what it means. So I'm organized, I'm disciplined, I'm responsible, I'm aware of all efforts that I need to do in order to get something done.
Yeah.
Then I am not a baby girl in that way. Okay, but what I told you that because, guys, if you want to do something, also when people that you have around you doesn't support you, they don't support you, sorry, you can do that as well. It's not easy. It's not easy, because I can understand what it means when you are feeling tired and no one can support you. I perfectly understand what does it mean, but you can do that. If you really want to do something, you can do that. Also because you need to be aware about what you are going to face through. You need to figure out in your life, when you set a goal, how many efforts you need to do, how much efforts you need to do in order to achieve your goal.
Right.
So
yeah. Absolutely. I definitely agree. And I didn't make this clear because it came afterwards. It was meant to be before the question, but Mindspaces says, I love your study mindset. I absolutely love the study ethic you are promoting. And will you continue streaming after finishing law school?
That's a really long time.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, guys. After the graduation here in Italy, probably I am going to work for a period, but I keep studying. First of all, for taking the exam bar. After that, I want to keep studying around the world. So no worry, we are going to keep studying together, and I start making also English videos as well. So no worries about that, guys, because I keep staying with you. So really, no worries. You know, you can ask me everything about making new videos or something like that. I try to share also some some tips with you on Instagram when you send me direct messages. But guys, we are growing really fast. We are a lot, and I can't answer to everyone in real time. Sorry for that, but I have a lot of things to do, and I should stay for the whole day at the phone to answer your messages. So
No, that's absolutely true. Because there's only so much time you can dedicate to that. So what we'll do is we'll kind of we'll ask one more question. And I saw that Marco actually asked another question. He asks, "What are those English videos for?" The English videos that you do.
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, Marco, can you specify what you mean, the English videos? What that question is? And then the other question is for both of us. Pad Mini is asking both you and myself. How do you deal with? Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm reading the chat from here now. I understood.
Oh, now you get
That's
it.
simple. Simple because I have two different channels. One of them is in Italian, so
Okay.
Italian people can understand that. But Marco, a lot of people are worldwide. They are from all around the world, so they can't understand Italian and my Italian videos. This is the reason why I'm going to start making English videos as well, so everyone can understand something about my mindset. Why I don't put English subtitles in my videos, in my Italian videos? Because it doesn't make sense. In a lot of my videos, I talk about Italian college and how the system works. So my organization is based on the system, the Italian system. So it doesn't make sense that I put English subtitles in my Italian videos, guys.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Perfect. And I think one of the questions that Pad Mini was asking was for both of us. How do you deal with haters and negative people who put you down while streaming, or studying, or doing internships? I face a lot. Just you know, the give up peak. Like what would you say to that, Anna?
Okay, that's different because, first of all, if we talk about haters, negative people, internship, that they are different things. I mean,
Yeah.
haters, I don't know, on Instagram or the comments of English of videos or something like that. When I started making videos, I knew that it was a big problem. So I started making video only when I was ready for that, because negative haters
Yeah.
are really something that's not easy to solve this problem, okay? But in my opinion, for example, when you receive a lot of comments on YouTube, the algorithm works well with your channel. They can't, the algorithms can't understand if this is a positive or a negative comment. So that's good.
Yeah.
That I don't care. I delete all negative comments.
Right.
I don't care about numbers. My only purpose is sharing motivation and sharing something of positive. I don't think that I'm the best one and I say only good things and I'm right. Okay, I'm right. Also, people that have different opinion can share that in my videos. This is not a problem. That's good, because you can really put yourself in comparison with the rest of the world, and that's good. Okay, but haters and unpolite people, I can't deal with them, so I delete all negative comments. That for that concern hater, for what regards hater. Secondly, negative people.
Yeah.
I, as well, in my YouTube channel with the comments below the video, in my real life, I deleted all negative people. Because I have not energy enough to deal with negative people. Okay, life is not easy.
Yeah.
But if you can keep fighting for your goals with a positive mindset, and you can surround yourself with positive people,
Hmm.
you can really live your life in another way also when you pass through bad periods. So
Right.
this is really important. If you can, don't listen to negative people opinions. Try to surround yourself with positive people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it requires that for a certain time you are going to be alone. That's
Mm,
better to be alone than with negative people, trust me.
mm.
So, and then internships. I think that this is an amazing question, amazing presentation, because in the work ambience, it works differently.
Mhm.
First of all, communication is really important. This is really important in the world of the work.
Yeah.
Okay, don't be afraid of asking questions when you are doing an internship. Okay,
Mhm.
really ask a ton of questions because you are there for learning. It
Yep.
doesn't matter. You
Yep.
need to learn something. So ask questions without being afraid of that. An internship is not forever, only for a certain amount of time. So when you can, avoid litigation or bad situation. Try
Right.
to learn a lot, but try also to communicate. Then, if you find yourself in a bad situation with a colleague, with a boss, I don't know, try to talk with them, okay? Because you can grow.
Yeah.
You can grow yourself, you know.
I mean, you pretty much covered those questions really well, Anna. I mean, I would hate to actually follow that because that is a very very great mindset to have, and especially I think with internships. I mean, I'll give just like a quick recap of that question just from my perspective about more like YouTube related stuff. But I would say that for the people who are on YouTube, they're people too, and sometimes they're they're bots. You never know, but I literally call out a person sometimes if I need to, just because that's my style. And sometimes I do. This has actually happened more than once, but I'm on my channel and then I see a thumbs down. I'm like, oh, I hope you have a better day. You might be struggling with your day, so thank you anyways for being here. And if you disagree with certain things that I'm saying, that's okay. I think particularly like if we're in a live stream and we're talking about something and someone's blatantly trying to be, if you will, aggressive towards someone in the chat or myself, where it's personal, that's when I like kick them out of my stream or whatever. But ultimately, if you have different views, different opinions, by all means, let's share that. Let's talk about that in the comments, in the chat, things like that. Because I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I think that's the mindset that I have is a person is who's willing to do this is willing to do this, or it doesn't matter to me. What matters is communication and being able to get to know people throughout this process. And so for me personally, I think the way that you deal with haters or negative comments, if it's personal, if they're attacking your character or your personally, I would just not even pay attention to that. But if you feel inclined, if you want to engage with that person and say like, well, why do you see things differently? I'd like to know, because this is meant to be a learning experience, not just for people who are visiting your study stream, but for you as well. I mean, the goal for me as an educator is not to just teach people; it's to learn with them. And so, hopefully, you all feel like we give you positivity, we give you tips and techniques, but ultimately, we're also here to learn together. So, I want to thank you, Anna, so much for your time. Because you literally, like I said, I don't want to extend it too long because you've done 8 hours of studying already, and that's a lot of work. I know that you use up a lot of mental energy and even physical energy. But I want to thank you guys so much for being in the chat with us today, and thank you for your questions. And Anna, is there anything that you want to add before we go offline?
First of all, that's a pleasure to be there because during study times I have not a lot of time to talk with people, so that's a pleasure when I can do that. Also because I study, I was done. I studied I'm studying in an Italian way. My exams are in Italian, so also when I need to switch my brain during the break from Italian to English, not every time it's easy. Try to build again speech. By the way, I wanted to make the last example. For instance, my biggest problem here, it was my English, because when I started making live stream, I had a very bad English. So this is the best example that I used to share with people. Guys, when you are not good at something, it doesn't mean that that's something that you can't do that. Okay, you can do that, but you need to keep working on that. 8 months ago, I wasn't able to talk in English very well, and now I can understand, I can talk with you. So thank you for listening to me every time, first of all. But secondly, the most important thing that I want to share with you is remember that whatever you want to do in your life, you can do that. Also, when you set highest goal, difficult goals or something like that, plan how to act and act. It doesn't matter if people think that you are crazy or that you can't do that. Don't share your goals with people. I mean, also with family or people that you love, it's not every time the right thing to do sharing your goals, because sometimes we are involved in something of really bigger than us, and that's bigger, and we know that. But if we can work on that and we are happy about our efforts, our sacrifices, and all these things, we are going to succeed in our lives. It doesn't matter how bigger your goals are.
Yeah.
So keep working hard because you can do everything.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Anna, I truly, this was an honor. Thank you so much for your time. And I would, hopefully in the future we'll have an opportunity to be able to have another discussion on certain things and things like that. But for those of you who don't know, we are going to wrap up, and I think there were a couple more questions. My encouragement to you would be to, if you want to ask more questions to Annalisa, definitely go subscribe to her channel. All the information is in the description below. And like I said, Anna, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. But I think most of you now know what time it is. We do have to wrap up because we've been going quite a bit lately, and I want to make sure that Annalisa gets some rest because she's been so kind to just spend some time with us, and really for us to kind of get to know her. So thank you, Anna, for being here. And just if you could stay for maybe like a minute or two afterwards, that'd be great, just so that we can talk. But guys, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't done so already, please check the description for Annalisa's information. It's all listed there. It's basically what you would see on her regular live stream. So definitely subscribe to her channel, like her videos. She has a wonderful mindset, a really great outlook on education, I think, as a whole. And she has wonderful tips to offer you. But remember, in the meantime, remember, be kind and rewind. Hopefully I'll see you later. Have a good one. Hadouken!